Okay, imagine this for a second. Right now, in this very moment, there's this massive, almost unbelievable exchange happening. Millions of screens all across the globe, they're just flashing with numbers. Currencies being bought, sold, traded constantly. You've got the huge banks, governments, giant corporations, and yeah, even ordinary investors, maybe like you, sitting at home. All of it, this enormous flow of money, it happens in this place called the Forex market. It is by far the biggest financial market on earth.
But that scale brings up the real question, doesn't it?
No.
The one that gets people really curious and maybe a bit nervous. Can you, the individual, actually step into this, well, this ocean of capital and consistently make a profit? Or are you more likely to be like so many others who jump in, get overwhelmed, and end up leaving with quite a bit less than they started with? What really makes the difference? What separates the winners from, well, the strugglers in a market this huge?
Yeah, that's exactly the core of it. And that's what we're diving into today. Welcome. We're taking a deep look into the foreign exchange market, Forex, as most people call it. We've gone through our sources, specifically a really helpful guide called Forex from Scratch, your guide to currency trading from the Shark Trading channel. Our goal here, it's not just to throw definitions at you. It's to, cut through the clutter, show you what's really going on underneath, and give you the kind of understanding that lets you make smart moves, not just guesses. So Forex, right? It's basically the global marketplace for trading currencies. Think about pairs you hear all the time, like the euro versus the US dollar, or the dollar against the Japanese yen, the British pound versus the dollar, stuff like that. Every little tick up or down in the price of these pairs, well, that's either a chance to make money or a risk of losing it.
And the scale is just mind-boggling. Our sources point out that over $7 trillion are traded every single day. Let that sink in, $7 trillion. It just dwarfs other markets. Plus, it's open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. It has incredible liquidity, meaning you can usually buy or sell almost instantly. And here's the really interesting part. You can often start trading with maybe $100 or even less sometimes, which, it makes you wonder, right? If it's that easy to get in and there's so much activity, why do so many people find it so hard to succeed?
Exactly. That's where it gets fascinating. Because success isn't really about luck here. It's not about stumbling onto the right trade. It comes down to knowledge, doesn't it? And discipline. There are specific tools, specific ways of looking at the market that can help you figure out what might happen next. And speaking of those tools and that kind of specialized knowledge, I really want to take a moment here. The source material we're using for this deep dive, it comes from the Shark Trading channel, and they're doing some incredible work. This isn't just basic, what is Forex stuff. They offer seriously professional content on trading and investment. They've got 7 professional courses, including 2 advanced ones that have frankly caused quite a stir because they reveal some pretty big secrets from behind the scenes of the financial markets. Plus 4 professional best-selling books. Honestly, this channel is a huge resource, the kind of information they share. People usually pay a lot of money for it. We've put the link to their channel right in the description for this deep dive. Definitely check them out if you're serious. Okay, so let's quickly unpack the Trader's Toolkit. What do you actually work with? First up, obviously, currency pairs. It's always one currency against another. You've got a base currency and a quote currency. So in USD, the euro is the base, the dollar is the quote. Simple enough.
Right. And then there's the big one, leverage. This is the tool that lets you control a large amount of currency with a relatively small amount of your own money. For example, a 1 to 100 leverage means your $100 could effectively control $10,000 in the market. Sounds amazing, right? Magnified profits. But, and this is where it gets really dangerous, leverage cuts both ways. It magnifies your losses just as powerfully, often much faster than you expect. A small move against you can wipe out your capital. Bang, gone. This connects directly to that bigger picture risk we mentioned. It raises a really important question for you listening. Are you truly ready for that amplified risk? Not just financially, but psychologically. How will you handle those faster, bigger swings?
Precisely. That amplified risk is a game changer. Then you've got the spread. That's just the small difference between the buying price and the selling price. It's basically the broker's commission for handling the trade. And margin, that's the money set aside in your account as collateral to keep that leveraged trade open.
These aren't just terms to memorize. They're active parts of every trade.
Okay, so how does a trade actually work in practice? Let's walk through it simply. You open an account with a broker. We'll go back to choosing the right one later. It's crucial. Then you analyze the market. Maybe if you're looking at charts, that's technical analysis. Or maybe you're reading economic news, that's fundamental analysis. You decide on your trade. What pair, buy or sell, where you'll take profit, and critically, where you'll cut your losses, your stop loss. Then you hit the button, execute the trade. The market does its thing, and you watch what happens.
Yeah, but that description makes it sound almost clinical. The reality is, this is where the psychology really kicks in hard. Our sources really emphasize the difference between a demo account and a live account. A demo account uses fake money. It's fantastic for practice, for getting used to the platform, trying out strategies without risking a penny, perfect training ground. But it lacks the emotional punch. There's no real fear, no real greed when it's not your money. The second you switch to a live account with your own cash on the line, everything changes. The stress ramps up massively. That's when the real learning begins, honestly. Learning to control your own impulses, your fear, your hope. What's fascinating is realizing how much of successful trading is about mastering yourself, not just the market.
Absolutely. And for anyone feeling that pressure or maybe just wanting to build a really solid professional foundation in trading and investment right from the start, I highly recommend checking out the professional course designed specifically for that. It covers everything from the ground up, including that crucial psychological side. As with the other resources, you'll find the link to this comprehensive course right there in the description. Okay, that emotional side leads us straight into something absolutely critical, non-negotiable, really. Choosing a safe and reliable trading platform, your broker. Seriously, the importance of this, you just can't overstate it. We've heard way too many horror stories, people losing everything, not because they traded badly, but because they were with a dishonest company.
It's absolutely fundamental. Our sources are crystal clear on this. Your broker must be licensed by a strong regulatory body. Think names like the FCA in the UK, ASIC in Australia, SISC in Cyprus. These agencies enforce strict rules to protect traders. Beyond the license, look for things like quick, responsive customer support, secure, straightforward ways to deposit and withdraw your money, reasonable spreads, a good reputation online check reviews, forums. This really begs the question, how carefully are you checking these things before you deposit any money? And be incredibly wary, okay? If any company promises guaranteed profits, run. If they pressure you, if they ask you to send money through weird, unofficial channels, huge red flags. Trading itself has risks. You absolutely do not need the extra danger of dealing with a scam platform.
Yeah, exactly. And look, because this problem of scam platforms is unfortunately so widespread and they have nothing to do with real trading or investment, we actually did some digging and found a secure global platform that comes highly recommended. It's considered one of the best investment platforms out there. You can trade stocks, gold, Forex pairs, lots of other markets too. They're known for being really fast with deposits and withdrawals, which is important. And as a bonus for our listeners, you can get a 50% bonus on your first deposit. We've put the link for this trusted platform right below in the description as well. Worth checking out if you're looking for a safe place to trade. All right, let's tackle the big one. The dream, maybe. Can you actually make millions from Forex?
The million-dollar question indeed.
Sure. Our sources give a pretty straightforward answer. Yes, technically it's possible, but you can also lose huge amounts, just as easily, maybe easier if you're not careful.
Exactly. The difference, the absolute crux of it, is whether you approach it with a solid plan, a serious commitment to learning, and trade using logic, not just chasing fast money or acting on emotion. Think about George Soros, probably the most famous currency speculator ever. He made $1 billion, famously, in one day back in 1992, betting against the British pound. But that wasn't just a lucky punt. That was a result of years, decades even, of intense study, deep analysis of global economies, understanding market sentiment. It was mastery, not gambling. So this leads to a deep question for you. Are you genuinely prepared to put in those years of hard work, that continuous learning curve that real success demands? Or are you kind of hoping for a shortcut, a quick win? Be honest with yourself on that one.
That's a powerful question, and it ties into the tips our sources highlight for beginners. 10 key points, really game changers. First, start with a demo account. We keep saying it because it's vital. Don't just jump in with real cash. Second, prioritize education. Learn, learn, learn. Read books, take courses, follow reliable sources, see it as investing in yourself. And third, echoing what we just discussed about avoid high leverage at the start. Maybe begin with something small like 1 to 10 or 1 to 20. Get a feel for it before amplifying the stakes. Leverage is powerful, but it needs respect.
Absolutely. And critically, point 4, never enter a trade without a clear plan. Why are you getting in? Where will you get out? For profit. And where is your stop loss? Mandatory. Every single time. Fifth, capital management is king. Never risk more than, say, 1% or 2% of your total trading capital on any single trade, no matter how sure you feel. Discipline. What's really fascinating, and maybe a bit sad, is watching how often greed just takes over. People abandon their plans chasing bigger profits, and that's usually the fastest way to lose. Sixth, remember the market doesn't owe you trades. Sometimes the best move is to do nothing, to wait. Not losing is often a winning strategy in itself. Patience is key. Which brings up another deep question for you. Can you develop that patience? Can you sit and wait for the right setup? Or does that fear of missing out FOMO constantly push you into trades you shouldn't take?
That FOMO is a killer.
It really is. And, we actually talked a lot about managing emotions in trading in a previous deep dive. Might be worth revisiting that one if this is hitting home for you. 7th tip, keep a trading journal. Log every trade, why you took it, how it played out, what you learned. Review it constantly. It's crucial for growth. 8th, 9th, 10th are basically reinforcing earlier points. Understand the instruments, leverage, spread, etc. Choose a secure broker and absolutely steer clear of scams and unrealistic promises.
So when you pull it all together, our sources paint a clear picture. Forex isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not even just a job, really. It's a long-term project. It demands patience, serious commitment, constant learning and development, and accepting that losses will happen. They're part of the process for everyone.
Everyone. Even the best traders have losing trades.
Which leads to our final deep question for you today. What does seeing Forex as a long-term project, a marathon, not a sprint, actually mean for your approach, your commitment level, your expectations? Are you truly in it for the long haul? Okay, so let's try and distill this deep dive down. Forex. Huge market, massive potential, yes, but, and it's a big but, it carries even bigger risks if you go in unprepared, without knowledge, without discipline.
Right. The path to potentially succeeding isn't about finding some magic signal or chasing greed. It's built on understanding the market, managing your risk rigorously, controlling your emotions, and choosing your platform wisely. Those foundations are far more important than any single trade entry. And if you genuinely commit to learning these principles, applying them consistently, educating yourself properly, Forex really could be a significant turning point for your financial journey. It offers unique opportunities. This whole discussion, this deep dive, we've built it carefully from your sources to give you, hopefully, a clear, realistic roadmap, focusing on what actually works over the long term.
We really enjoy putting these deep dives together for you, and we want to hear from you too. If there's a specific topic, something you're really curious about that you'd like us to tackle in a future deep dive, please let us know. Just write it in the comments below. And don't forget, we mentioned several really important links during our chat today. For the Shark Trading Channel, that professional course, the secure trading platform, they're all listed in the description below this deep dive. Definitely check those out for more info. So if you found this deep dive helpful, if you got some real value out of it, we'd love it if you'd subscribe to the channel. All the links we talked about, including for those books and sources, are waiting for you right down there in the description.
Yeah, we're always exploring these kinds of complex topics, trying to bring you clarity and useful insights. Make sure to check out our previous deep dives too. We've covered things like the psychology of investment, market biases, some really interesting stuff there. And stay tuned for our next one. We're planning to dive into the future of digital currencies, which is, well, a whole other fascinating and rapidly changing world.